All right. Good evening once again. So we are still on HTML tags mastering. We are still learning different tags, which we are going to use to build our real websites. And so far, we have mastered few of them. Mastered the heading tags, paragraph tag, img tag, image tag. Then we're looking at table as another tag in HTML, which is used to create a structure for holding data in horizontal and vertical manner within our web pages. So I defined table as a fundamental structure, which is also known as two-dimensional data holding structure. And I pointed out the importance of using table in developing websites. So I also mentioned few areas or few things you can actually add to your website with the table. I mentioned the roster or programming timetable within a website that will require table as a format. I also said that the table we are looking at here will also be involved at the back end because it's the same table structure we use in holding processed data from the form to the back end database. So we started looking at how do we declare the table? How do we declare the table? I said to declare table, you start from typing table. So once you have, so in other words, the table is now the major container that we process other elements. Now we have to class it, but now we should know the essence of classing so that in case we create another table within this file, there will not be conflict of CSS. All right, so let me class this table 1. Now inside the table, we can now declare the table elements. So every other tag that comes in inside the table is referred to as the table elements. And those tags can only be used inside the table. They are not tags you are expected to use outside the table, just like where we were learning HTML listing. You know, we use li, which was a sub element directly under the OL or the UL. So now your table has what we call the rows. So the first thing is for you to define the first row, which is with TR. So the TR represents table row. So I will expand it because I want to create headings inside it. Okay, so what we are looking at is just the first row. In the first row, we have different columns or attributes. So I can say to create those headings inside the first row, I will use TH. So the TH represents table heading. Now, supposing I want to create students' basic data or contact data in my website using table. So I will say the first one is student ID. So let's say what? S ID. Okay, let me not mind the cap lock. I will achieve that with CSS. So student ID. So that is going to be the first heading. Then while I'm still inside that first row, I'll type another TH to define another heading. And I would like to define their first name here. First name. And then another TH. Let's say middle name. Then another TH. Let's say gender. Another TH. Let's say this is for their contacts. Then another TH, class. So let's assume that these are the numbers of headings we want to capture in the table. Now let's see the outcome of this on a browser. So let's see what we have developed so far. All right, so as you can see here, we have the headers mentioned. Now we have to create record under these headers. And to achieve this, we have to create another TR. Remember, this is the end of the previous TR, and we are still inside the table. So I'll quickly make another table row, also expanding. Now, the kind of data I want to create with this second TR is quite different from the one I created here. Now, the whole of the first TR actually uses to declare the headings. Now, this one is to create the records under each of these heading. Now, the tag to declare the data is TD. So the TD represents table data. That is, you want to create values for this heading. So we can interpret the TD to be cells. That's those boxes you see. Remember, I've already sketched the table in our last class. So this TD is to create record for the student ID. So I can say, okay, the first one is 001. Then while you are still inside the TR, you create another TD to create data for first name. So let's say the student's first name is Jude. Then the same thing, TD again for middle name. Let's say the middle name is Michael. Then the next one is the gender. So let's say the gender is male. So the next one is for contact. Let's say the student contact is 07069665919. So the next one is for the class. So let's say the student class is JSS3. Okay, now we have to repeat this row into different, or we have to repeat the row multiple times if we want to increase the numbers of records. But before we do that, let's check the front end to see what we have generated. So you can see it. So we have been able to populate records inside our table. Now, if I want to create another record to save my time, I will just copy just this section. And then while I'm still inside the table, I will paste it. And what I will do is just to come here and change this information. Maybe this one is Rita. This one is Joe, just to make them different. This one is female. Then let's say this one is JSS2. So if you go to the front end, you will notice that what you have generated another row. So, but I will just duplicate it just for us to move on. So I will just right click. Then I can take my time later to start editing them. So let me just create like 10 of them so that we can have more record in the table. If I come back, so you can see that I have the table. Any question? Any question?
No, sir.
Okay, so let's.
So this is what we did. This is what we did the previous day.
Yes, yes. The network was not stable, so I don't want to assume that I have to quickly run through it. So let me just proceed. Good. So now,
Okay, sir.
now the next thing I want to do, if you look at this table, I want to bring in CSS because remember that we are learning HTML and CSS together. So we are using the HTML to create content and we are using CSS to determine the presentation. Now, you will notice that by default, when a table is declared, it does not activate the grid lines. Okay, because what we are expected to get is something like this from what we sketched in our last class. So this is what we are supposed to get, something of this shape, okay, where we have vertical lines and horizontal lines. But as you can see, you see that after creating both the table and each element, the grid lines are not visible. That is because by default, the grid line will not be visible. So how do we rectify that with CSS? So that will now take us to our table styling. Table styling. And remember that I have connected it to this CSS file. So let me just simply say HTML table styling. Now, your styling depends on what you want. So if you look at the table now, the lines are not visible. So how do I activate the grid lines on the table? There are two ways you can actually achieve that. So the first task we are performing under table styling is what? How to activate, can be writing, how to activate table grid lines. How to activate table grid lines. Okay, since they do not show by default, how do we activate them? Now, there are two ways you can do that. Like I said, the first way is using attributes. Let me just call the name of that attribute using border attributes. Using border attributes. Just give me once. All right, so like I was saying, so like I said, we have two different methods to achieve that. So
I don't know if you knew you were cracking before.
before I took that permission, no.
I didn't even know when you took permission.
Okay. So, but you had me to this point now where I was writing this.
I thought when you said am I right in how to activate table grid
Good.
lines?
Okay. But is it clear now? Is it clear?
That this is how you what you're writing now is how to activate table grid lines.
No, what I'm asking is that the network is this stable now? You say whether
Okay, yes it is. It
okay,
is.
all right. So using border attributes, so this is one of the methods. I'm going to show all the two ways you can do that. The second one is using CSS. Okay, so let me start by showing us how you can activate the grid line using attribute. Now, if it is through attribute, it means that you are going to do that from your HTML structure. So I'll go back to the HTML structure. Inside the table tag opening section, you space, you type border. Then once you type border, you add 1, not 2. So it's a constant value. So if I go back to the front end now, you see that what? I have automatically activated or make the grid line visible. Exactly. Exactly.
Yes.
Okay, good. So now that this is one method. Now, second method, like I said, is by using CSS. So let me clear this. You can't use both of them at the same time. If you are using CSS, you need to remove this. Now, since we have already classed it table 1, so I will just go to my CSS file and reference the table element with its class name. Of course, remember that the class name is table 1. So I will just do dot table 1 and then open my declaration block. Now, since I want to achieve it in CSS, I'm going to call 3 properties at once for us to get those lines active. So the first one, I will say border, and then I'll type the thickness. I'll specify the thickness of the line. So let's say, let it be 1 ps, space, specify the line type. Let's say solid, then specify the line color. Let's say blue. So if you want to activate that grid line in CSS, this is how you reference the 3 different properties. So this one represents the thickness of the line, while this represents the type of the line, and then of course this the color. So if I go back to the front end, you see that what it only affected the
Wait, sorry, excuse me, sir. Sorry, please can you go back? Because I was trying to change the background color of
okay,
my thing.
okay.
Mm.
Now what I did is that same thing we achieve with the border. That same thing we achieve with the border is what I wanted to achieve with the CSS option. And I said for CSS, you have to declare border property. Okay, now you specify the thickness of the line, which is this aspect now, where I said 1 ps space. The type of the line, will you want the line to be dotted or smooth line? Smooth line is the one we are representing with solid. Okay, then you have to also define the color of the line. So let's say blue. So make sure that these 3 properties are not meshed together. You have to just create space between them. Now, if we go back to the front end, you will see that it is only the table that was affected. The elements were not affected. Why? Because of the selector. So what we are supposed to do, we are supposed to talk to table. We put comma here, we'll talk to tr. We put comma here, we'll also talk to th. So if you go back to the front end, you see that what the th are affected, and then what is left now, which we need to add, is td. So I will just add td. Remember, I told you before that this is CSS combinator, where you are using one selector to select all the words, the element due to their structure. So if I come back, you see that what all of them are affected. Okay, is that clear? Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me give you 1 minute to achieve this. You can share your screen. Let me see if you are following. Share your screen. Let me see what you have done. You have to space and say solid. You have not defined the line type. Space and type solid. And then the color of the line you want. After solid, you need another spacing before the name of the color. So you're already on black. Now choose different color. So it has worked, at least. All right, so let's continue. You can unshare now. All right, so we are still trying to make our table user-friendly. So another thing we want to learn is, we also observe that...
I have a question.
Okay.
The videos I uploaded, I don't like the way they look.
The video?
I uploaded on the distance on my own.
Using the video tag or iframe?
Using iframe.
Okay. So what is the issue?
Let me show you.
Okay, show me now. Let's see.
Like, see.
Okay.
Will I just reduce the size for it? I want it to look maybe in a straight line or something. Even this one.
Okay. What you are saying now is the arrangement of the video, right? They are not properly aligned, right?
Yes.
But we'll
Yes.
take, what we are doing. What we are doing is we have not actually. We are just confirming. Okay, that is why this is not the real website. So it shouldn't be after whether it is well arranged. That is not our focus. Our focus now is we are testing these blocks one after the other. So once I'm done with this topic, uh, we have one more topic, which is called how to design forms. This form that people fill and click on submit. So once we are done with that form, we will now start the website project properly. So that is when we will ensure that things are arranged the way we want them. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let's continue. So now there is another observation. You notice that this table has two border lines. Didn't you observe? Because instead of one border line from the one we sketch, we are having two border lines. So that is how it activates as default. Whenever you activate the border line, you will always get two lines. Now, it is now left for you as a programmer to write a code that will collapse, that will destroy one and leave only one. So that is the next topic. So the topic is how to collapse table borderline. How to collapse table borderlines. So there is a property, there is a CSS property. Now, this very one is not meant to be communicated to table and its elements. It's just the table you need to talk to. Now, for the fact that here you were talking to all of them, okay, you cannot call it here. Because if I declare the property here, it means that I'm saying that you collapse it for each of those elements that I combine here. So I have to talk to only table in this case. So which means I will just re-reference the table one only, because the property I want to call now only affect it. So I will say border collapse, and the value should be collapse. Then if you go back to the front end, you see that what? You have automatically destroyed what? One line, and you have just one. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Good. So the next thing I want to do before I allow you to practice, I just want to cover 3 topics. The next one is I want to set the width of this table. I want it to stretch probably to cover, let's say 100%. Let it display full from here to this end. So that will take us to widthing the table, how to adjust the width of the table, how to adjust table width, how to adjust table width. Now, to do that, we are not going to write it here. Once the table itself width changes, all these other properties that are wrapped inside will also be affected. So this is the best place to declare your width property. So I'll come here and say width. So since I want it to display 100%, I'll simply say 100%. So if I go back to the front end to check, you see that what my table is now what 100%. Now, after stretching it to display 100%, I also observe that the headers are no longer on the same alignment with the record. So this is not a good user presentation. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk to only this particular row that is holding all the headings and use text align to return them to the left-hand side, and also, if possible, to give the whole of that row that is holding all the header a different background color. So, well, before we can achieve that, we have to go back to the structure and class this particular row. This is the row that is responsible for those headers that we want to talk to. So, because if I just do table row and say text align, it will affect every word other row. So in order to limit it to this one, I will also class it. You can just say what? TR1. Then in my CSS, I will just indicate that styling only the table row holding the header or the TH so that you understand it. So we'll select it with each class, which is what? TR1, and then declare your block. And then I'll simply say text align. Text align. I'll say left. So let's go and check if we have achieved that. Perfect. Now, just to differentiate it from other ones as the principal row, I will also quickly add background color. So I will say, okay, this one should have background color, maybe this. So let me also check. So I've been able to do that. Then the text color, the TH that are inside this TR, I also want to reverse them to white since I've changed the background color. So what I will simply do is to say background color, sorry, that should be text color. That should be color. That should be color, not background color. So let me clear it up. So I'll just call color. Then I'll say white based on the background I'm using. So let me check. Okay, so perfect. So now I want you to get to where I am now before I proceed. Quickly share your screen as well. So you have to be talking as usual now so that I will not look boring here. Let me also enjoy your lecture.
Yeah, because I'm already typing. That's why.
When I used to type, I used to talk. Talk.
I'm collapsing the table to have single rows. It's the
Okay.
same thing everything.
Hmm. Okay, don't worry. When I continue, I will just be writing. I will not be talking again. Well, hope you have classed your table 1, sha.
So what do you say?
Have you classed your table 1? Hope you have classed it in HTML. Before calling table 1 here, have you classed it?
Yes, now I classed it since before. See it here.
Okay, because I have not seen it. Okay, yeah, it's true. It's true. Continue. Yeah, it's true.
It's joined together.
Okay.
Mm,
The width now.
okay, yes, please. 100%. So I want to do the whole thing.
Okay. Now the
Yeah, see
alignment.
it here.
Okay. Now talk to the headers alignment,
Okay.
background color, the text color, just like I did.
I already, I
Right.
put the, see, I put the class already.
Good.
So let me go on the listing. To start the table row, like only table row.
Okay. All right. So
Yes.
that's good one. Okay. So let's
I
continue.
think you did. I think okay.
You have already
I
done.
think
You change your
you
alignment.
changed the color
Okay. Yeah. It's true. Based on the
of
background.
the text or something.
Yes. You can also change your own as well due to the
But
color.
my own is already black.
Okay.
Let me just change it to white to show.
White will not be that visible based on the background you are
And
using.
then just to show that something has changed.
All
I'm
right.
going to remove.
All right.
I don't know. I think that's all.
Okay. Now let me continue. Now. So the next thing I want to achieve now is what else do I want to achieve? The next thing I want to achieve is to turn off the borderline and leave only the bottom borderline. Okay, so I want to make my table look more.
Sir,
Okay, I'm with you.
'cause I want to increase the text size.
Okay, good. Now, if you want to increase the text size, you talk to TD. So let me quickly do that. So let's say we want to increase. So to increase the test size. Use TD. So let's say it's going to affect all. So that is why I'm just typing TD without classing it. So I will just say font size, let's say 20 PS. So if I go back to the front end, you see that what? It affected all the tests. Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now, like I wanted to show us is that, okay. Now, if you look at this table, you will notice that it's not really mature. I don't want somebody to know that I actually use table, because the only way he or she will know that I use table is when he's seen all the lines, both all the extreme line, the middle line. So what I want to do is I want to turn off all the vertical line. I don't want them. I only want the horizontal line. So how do I do that? So that will take us to, let me use comment to explain it here. So how to activate only some specific grid lines. How to activate only some specific grid line. In this case, we don't want all the vertical line. So the first thing you are going to do, you will go back to where you have declared the border line before and disable it. Because when you call border without saying border left, border right, it means you are referring to all the lines, both the vertical left, the vertical right, and then bottom line, and then the top horizontal line. So I will just turn off this first temporarily. Now I will now come here and talk to the same element. So this you only affect. If I go back to the table now, the front end, you see that what? I have removed all the line because I want to specifically talk to one. And the one I need is the bottom. I don't need the vertical. I just need only the bottom borderline. So to do that, I will just say table. Table name is dot table 1. So I will just say border bottom. So like you can see here, we have border top. If you want only the top line, or if you want only the left hand side, you want only the right, you can as well do it. But what we are doing right now is we need only the bottom. Now you do the same thing. The thickness of that bottom line you are asking for, the type of line, I'll be using solid. Let me also use another line type so that you know that it is possible. So then the color is the same word, blue. The color is the same blue. Now, if I go back to the front end, you see that what? It affected only the table. So I have to, in fact, there's no need of me typing it here. I will have just, let me see, with that very place.
Please, sir.
Okay.
Okay, don't. Sir, how you remove the line? You just remove the border, right?
Yes,
You just commented out the border.
yes, exactly. Now, what I'm saying is that what I will have done is that this particular code that I wrote here now, I'm not supposed to even bring in another selector. So that very place where I disabled that one, I will have activated it there so that to affect all those selectors. Because when I called only table, you notice that it affected only the table. But meanwhile, I want it to affect both the table, the TR, the TH, the TD. So if I go back to the front end now, you see that what? I only have it. And I change the line type from solid to what? Dotted line. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, so let me do one more thing before I also allow you to practice. Now, the next thing I want to do is that you notice that if I touch this particular row, there is no way I know that I am currently focusing on this row. So I want to program an effect that will always indicate once I hover on the row, it will make all the values in that row different so that I can focus on them. So that is the next thing. So how do I describe that? Let me say how to add hover effect. How to add hover effect to table rows. How to add hover effect to table rows. Okay, in order to indicate focus. Now, to do that, that is to affect all the row. So if you want it to affect only some rows, then you have to do your classing. But in this case, I want it to affect all the row. So I'll simply say table row, the column. Remember, we must have used hover effect before you declare your bracket. Then I'll say that when the user hovers on any of the rows, the current color, remember I told us before now that whenever you are adding hover effect, always know the actual effect. Make sure that the actual effect is different from the hover effect. That is the only when they can actually.
So sir, you can't just become bigger.
Sorry?
Like if you don't want it to have any color now. You just want when you touch your arrow there, it will just become larger than every other one.
Good. Exactly. That's at least something that will make it different from the actual appearance. It's okay, depending on you. Okay, so if that is what I want, I will just say what? Font size. Remember that the font size you use is 20 ps. So I can say, okay, once they hovers on it, the font size should increase to maybe 40 ps. So if I go back now and see why has it not reflected, let me check. TR hover font. Okay, let me just put color. So from here, I will know if it's actually working. So let's say once they hovers on it, the background should change to black. And then if the background is switching to black, then the text color, the color should be, was this background? Okay, that is color. So I actually meant background. So if the background is changing to black, then the current text color, which is black in some rows, should change to white. Let's say white, should change to white. Okay, now if I go back there, let me see, so you can see it. Once you touch any of the row, you will have that focus. Exactly.
Yeah.
Good. So when somebody is on this page, you can see that size only affected the heading, that first font size. It affected only the one here, but it's not affecting this. So the communication we have established now as programmer is that we want the user to have good experience. We don't want them to stress themselves at all. That when they
Now
are,
why did you affect the table head when you didn't talk to the table head?
yeah, if you look at it here, no, where did we even put the font
You
size?
put it in table row.
So, most of this function, they are designed for what they can work on. Because if you want to talk on the font size, on the actual display, it should be for the TD. Are you with me? For the TD. That is what we did here now. We did it for TD, not for TR. So it's reverse the function to the first row. That is what actually happens there. So I want you to get to where I am before I explain the few things that are remaining. So by the time I come back, what I'm going to teach you is if I want a vertical text, let's say, the way they create timetable, whereby you have like maybe a first period, second period, third period, then here they will write a vertical text called break, So we're going to look at that as the final aspect of styling your table. Then we will now look at how we can use table to hold images before we bring it to an end. So you can quickly get to where I am now. Share your screen as well.
That's why, what was the first thing you did? Is it just the over effect you did?
No, was it just the over effect? No, let me see my here. No, the first thing I did was the question you asked. I changed the TD, the font size of the TD, then followed by the no.
Okay, I've done that already.
Okay, you've done that. What about the one I removed the lines, the border line, and activated only the bottom border line. Have you done that?
Do that. So after this one, you now do the,
Sir,
you now do, sit here.
let me check. Let me check. I'm coming. Okay, where are you now? I think what I can see a border bottom, right? Okay, good. Now the next thing is
Over effect.
yes, that was the over effect. I hope you are writing some of these things down, Sha, for reference purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. All right, so you can unshare now. Let's proceed. All right, so what we have left here is before we look at how to create a vertical text within your table, let us quickly look at how do we space them. This is not font size now. It's called padding. You want to stretch as if you want to open up the table. You add padding. You add it to where you are speaking to all the table elements. So you just say padding. Remember, I have explained the concept of padding. Padding will create space internally between the content and the borderline. So if I say padding, and then I say, okay, I want padding of 14 PS, that is top and bottom, and then padding of 12 PS, left and right. So you will notice some changes on the table. You can see that what the table has more space, which is better, except I have other things I want to add to this page. Did you understand it?
Yes.
Okay. So you can see that the write-up are now distanced from the lines the border lines around them. Now, the next thing, like I said, is how do we create a vertical test? For example, this says here, the whole of this says column, I want to span it. That is, I want to collapse it. After collapsing it, then I am going to rotate it to face down or face up. So that is going to take us to call span. How to call span. So let's say what? Call span. Span. We have call span and then we have row span. These are attributes that you add to your HTML structure, not CSS. So the work of the column span is just like merging column, while the row span is merging rows. Now, for us to be able to create this vertical test here, we need to first of all span this row down to the last row. Okay, so which means that the whole of the, in fact, let me see if I can deactivate this font size hover effect. It's actually distracting me. So if what I'm trying to achieve is that I will span from this row.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Can you please go back to your your
Okay. Okay.
yes. So how did you make the whole text bigger?
Which of okay. Here.
Like why?
Yes, here. Okay, why?
Okay. The padding. Okay, yeah.
Yes, I needed space. I needed space between the
Oh,
content and the space around them on the inside within the box. Exactly.
okay. Okay, sir.
Okay, so now what we are trying to achieve now, let me go to the front end. I just want to give us the picture. The picture is that we want to span the whole of this. This space, we want to break this line from here, break this, so that this space will be one. So that is just like you are merging the whole of the cell. This cell, this cell, this cell, this cell, this cell, this cell, this cell will be collapsed. So this space will not be available for cells. In other words, we are not going to have male, we are not going to have female. So, but what I'm going to do, I will just go and edit it to what? Break, like you normally have it if it is a school timetable, so that we align with one of the most used purpose. Now, what I will do is that just to go back to the table, where I declare that header says, I will just change it to break. So just to understand the concept. Break. Now, if I go back to the front end, now this particular break, we want to collapse the whole of this space, and then we will now rotate it vertical to become a vertical text. So I said, one, to collapse this cell, we need row span. If I want to merge this column from this column to class column, I will use call span. Now, but what I need now is to merge this row, which is what? Row span. Then where do I add the attribute called row span? I have to identify the particular column. So I'll go back to my HTML section and then I'll target, let's make clear this illustration. Now, I will target where I have that break. Here is it again. Where I have that break, then I'll go in there and say what? Row span. Once I type row span, it will bring it. Then how many rows are in the table? Counting this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, because I want to collapse it from here down to the last one. So that is what will determine the number I will put here. So if I go back to the front end now, you see that what? I have collapsed the whole of that place. Is it clear? Did you understand what I just did now? Hello?
Sir.
Did you say yes? Sorry, your network was breaking before.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, that is what the row span did, just to collapse this space, to create this space for me. Now, the next thing I want to do is to write a code that we rotate this
But
text.
sir, where are all the text?
No, those one have gone. The space you are dedicating for that, you don't need to put other information there. It's just that particular brick that will be there. So I'm just using this to practicalize it. So the particular column where you want to bring in the vertical text, please, other text will be deleted automatically. Now, the next thing I want to do is that I want this break, number one, I want this break to be bigger so that by the time I rotate it, it will fill the whole of this space. So how do I do that? I will class only the TH that produced this so that in my CSS, I can talk to it.
But sir, sir, wait, sir. The vertical text you created, it made other keys to shift, like C.
Yes, I'm coming. Yeah, I understand. I understand because we are short of one column now because we clear the whole of that. But what we are focusing on now is what we are learning first before we think of, okay, whether we want to get it well arranged. Now, I want to increase the size of this break and also centralize it before I switch it from horizontal to vertical. So the first thing is to go and class that particular TH. To class that particular TH. Now, I will come in here. I will just say class, only that particular one. I will just say TH2, for example. So I'll go to my CSS and say styling only the TH with the class TH1. Then I'll reference it TH1, TH1. Then I'll do font size just to increase it a little to like 40 PS. And then let me check what I have now ready. TH1. I don't see. Okay. Okay, let me see. I hope I'm selecting the right one. Let me see. I'll check now. Text transform. Let me see. Uppercase. If it doesn't change, I'll know that. Okay, so it have not seen it. So let me check my class. Okay, sorry, TH2. TH2. So I'll just change it to TH2 and check again. Okay, now I want to put it at the center. I want to put it at the center. So what I'm going to do is to do text align and say what? Center. So if I go back, you see that what is now at the center. Now I want to rotate it from horizontal text to vertical text. So to do that, I'm going to use two different properties and I'm communicating them to only this. So I'll quickly come here. I'll quickly come here and say writing mode, writing mode, writing mode. I'll choose any of these, either vertical, left, right, or vertical what? Right, left. So let me check here and see what we have. So if I go back to the front end, you see that what? You have this is vertical left. Now, I can go and check the other one so that when I am working, I will know what each of them represents. So the one I used before is this. Then I will just like the reverse case. So let me try this option. Good. So the same thing. Now, the next thing I want to do, this text is facing down. This text is facing down. I want it to face up. Are you following? I want it to face
Mm.
up, not down. So that we introduce another property, which is called what? Transform. Transform, rotate. Transform, rotate. So I'll specify the degree to be 180 DG. DEG. Now let me check. Perfect. So the test is now what? Facing up. Did you understand it? In fact, I have to allow you to implement it. Let me allow you because you need to understand it. But first of all, write these properties that I use if you have not written them. If you have, now go ahead and replicate it before I come back for the last application, which is how we can create image gallery with table. So you can share your screen now and replicate the same thing.
That I think the first thing you did was roast pan.
Yes, 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 exactly.
Um, Let me just add another one. TH. So in this roast pan is what did you type again?
Yes, you count how many rows do you have in the table. Put the number. You include that particular.
Oh, okay.
Okay. No, you put
The
only
four.
3. Okay. Put the total number of rows you have. Okay. Now you have that space.
Okay. Then
The next thing is to class it and go and
let me see.
change it to capital letter, centralize it before you bring in the rotation.
Only the TH.
Yes, only that particular one. Give it a class. Add a class
So
there.
this is just only the TH.
Yes, only that th. Add a class there.
Only
Leave
this
that.
particular row.
Yes, yes. Good. Yes. Just give it a unique identity. Okay. Then you go to your CSS and communicate with that. So that will affect only that th. All right, you are getting it.
Um,
Yeah. Put the you have not ended the put the semicolon. Semicolon. It's like you mistakenly deleted it. Mhm. Okay.
um,
Right. Now, I think the last one now. Good. Transform. Rotate. Transform. 180-degree. Add the DG, DE. Add it to it, DEG, to specify the unit. Okay. Perfect. All right. Now let's look at the last thing on table. We've really done much on table. Hope it's clear. It's clear, right?
yes, sir.
Sorry, I was with my earpiece before. I was asking, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
All right. So now let's look at the last thing, which is going to lead to an assignment, because you have done most of the things that I've taught you in the class. So I will just I'll leave it at your own will. So we'll just try and practice again. Now, supposing we have a gallery page, let me create a different file and name it gallery.html. Gallery.html activates my basic HTML file. Now, what I want to achieve on this page, or what I want the users to see, is the display of the work done. Let's say if this is an e-commerce website, I just want to display all our products without mentioning their prices and all that, because that will have been captured in the product or the shop page. But here I just want to display an array of our products. So how do I do that? And I want to have that alignment, just like the question you were asking. I believe this can answer your question temporarily, though we're going to learn more advanced structure to gain alignment. So those videos, you can create them in a table, just like the way I'm going to create pictures in a table. But let me find out if I have some picture here. Good. I think I also have video here. So now let me view the front end of this particular page. So what we are trying to achieve is that we want pictures to be arranged in horizontal, and vertical using table. So the topic here is how to use table to display images or even videos. So you do the one of video yourself the same way. So what I'm going to do is to declare the table as usual, then open it up. Now I want to arrange 6 per row, or let's say 3 pictures per row, another 3 again, the second row, the third row, and so on like that. So what I'm going to do, I will also call my TR to define that row. Then inside this TR, my TD will come in, but instead of me writing text, I will nest an image tag inside it. Okay, then I will reference the image from image folder to, let's say, this very one. So I will now do another TD. I will now do another TD. So I will nest img inside, then reference the second image from the same image folder. So like I said, 3 images per row, the same thing, TD, and then next img inside. So this is to tell you that table can actually hold any type of data. Now, if I go to the front end again, you can see that what I was able to achieve that arrangement. Exactly.
Suppose can you go back to your
My code.
back page?
Okay. Yes.
You said wait.
You said?
Wait, I'm trying. I'm coming.
Okay.
Okay? You want to put you say you wanted to put the images in a table.
Yes. I want to have three per row, 3 per row. So now I've
Okay.
created now you can see how we use the TR then. So inside the first row, I have declared what? 3 picture. So if I want another 3 picture in another row, I will copy this just like what we did. I am still inside the table, I'll paste. So if I add 3, that means I am going to get 3 what? Pictures per row. So let's go to the front end so you can see it now. You can see the way I easily achieve this arrangement. If it is not table, it will be difficult for you to gain or to get this kind of arrangement. So those videos that you asked the other time, you can go and create them in a table TD. Those videos using the iframe so that they will be arranged they will not be scattered the way they scattered. Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now if I want to move that to the center of the page, remember what to do. So let me just use a inline, internal to quickly do this. So I will just say what? Table. So I will just say width because the current width is 100%. So I'll say table should reduce to 90%. Then once it reduced to 90%, okay, so this is 90%, then I can now float it. Remember, I can say margin auto. Hope you have not forgotten this concept. So if I come back, you see that what? I have been able to what? To move it, but it did not really centralize it. So in this case, you now start using margin left until you get based on the system screen size. This is landscape and portrait. So if you want to make each of these picture clickable, that is when the user click on any of them, they should be taken to a different page. In this case, when they click, they should be driven to index page. So what I will do is to quickly wrap anchor tag, okay, to wrap it in what? Anchor tag. So I will take the closing part of the anchor tag and bring it to close immediately after the picture. So if you go back to the front end now, if you click on something was not properly closed here, which one is that? Okay. So if I go back to this, you see that what? If I click on this picture, it's expected to take us to a destination, but we have not defined that destination. So I'll come in here and say it should take us to index. So I will type what? Index. So if I go back to the front end and click, it will take us what? To the index file. So that is the final topic on table. So what I've just showed you now is how you can actually use how you can create how you can use table to create images or to display an array of images or video. Then peradventure you want to make them clickable, you just wrap them in anchor tag. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I believe I have touched almost everything you need to know on table. So our next class will be on the last topic, which is one of the most interesting topic in HTML, which is form. Then once we are done with the form, that is tomorrow. Once we will start the form, we may not be able to finish it tomorrow as well. Maybe on Tuesday we'll finish it. Then it's possible that this time next week we'll start proper introduction to the application of this tag in building real websites. Any question?
No, sir.
Okay, so your assignment is to play. Just play with all this. You can give yourself another project. Just make sure that you master all these tags that we have. So you can even start afresh if you have forgotten some. Start practicing them all over again so that they can stick. All right, so see you tomorrow. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, this is where we bring it to an end. So in case you come across this video and you are wondering where is this lecture coming from, so this is actually reaching you direct from Digital Z Hub. Digital Z Hub is a platform, is an online platform, 100% online platform where we teach people irrespective of their location from their comfort home computer packages. We offer the following training. Most of them are listed on the screen. Cybersecurity, we teach you how to protect network system data and also ethical hacking. Then we also train on coding, just like this video you just watched. And the web coding, we also train on machine learning, data analysis, graphic design, professional, AutoCAD. There's Office program. You want to learn Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint in an advanced form. This platform have experienced instructors like me and other ones that have spent reasonable time in the field of technology that can teach you and also mentor you. So in case you want to reach out to us, you can WhatsApp me directly on this number. That is the admin WhatsApp number. So once you WhatsApp me on how do I register to start my learning at Digital Z Hub, I will swiftly respond to you without wasting time. Then perhaps you also want us to add you to a group, a WhatsApp group, where we once in a while offer them free video like this for them to watch free. You can also WhatsApp me and indicate that please add me to that WhatsApp group where I can get free videos. So see you next time. Keep watching for more videos at Digital Z Hub. You can get us or reach us via website. As you can see, this is our website address. You can reach us via TikTok. Just type digitech.zeal.hub. That is our user ID at TikTok. And then on Facebook, we are also very much available. In fact, on Facebook, I give URL to access some of these free master classes video free. So you can search at Digital Z Hub or Digital Z Academy. You can also access us on Instagram at Digital Z Hub. So thank you for watching, and we hope to receive your contact soon.